People buying books differently. You know.
One thing you should know is when we started this process, we did everything we could to pay. Excuse me. No, it's okay. Don't. I cry all the time. It's fine. All of these things happen in waves. We were very lucky to ride a great wave for a long time. We were doing business at the height of what the independent bookstore was in this country, and we were really lucky to be a part of that.
Thank you.
I'm the owner, Bailey Coy Books. I'm the second owner of the store. Barbara Bailey was the original owner, and Barbara opened the store on Broadway in 1982.
I opened a bookstore downtown in Seattle in 1977 in Rainier Tower called B. Bailey Books. And it slowly failed for a number of reasons that really had nothing to do with a bookstore, but I kept thinking what a great spot Capitol Hill is for a bookstore.
Almost 20 years ago, when I first came to Broadway, I was newly out of the closet, being a gay man, and I came to this bookstore, and it was obvious that there was a section of books that I was able to access. I just felt safe here, and I was really grateful that it's been a part of Broadway, because it was really important for me as a young gay man to have a place to come to and get some really great resources and support.
And you could combine gay and lesbian books with everything else, and that hadn't been done before, and people would come, and it wasn't just gay and lesbian. That's the part that was unique.
We were seen as sort of a cultural gay space for a lot of people, but then there are lots of customers who talk to, who've shopped here for years, who would never even think twice about thinking of us as a gay bookstore.
I think we had somewhat more difficulty with publishers because we carried gay books, they thought we were a gay bookstore, and it took us years to convince them that wasn't the case.
Did you ever read about this guy?
Yeah.
John Cheever? Mm-hmm. He's a great writer. I had a really bizarre life. Been coming here for, I don't know, 15 years or more. It's kind of like it's a standard thing to do, walking down Broadway. They have the Bailey Coy little prompter over there, the first line, identify the first line. We've been doing that since Nicole was a kid.
People love it. People walk up and down the street every day just to see the first line on the board. And, you know, we gave away 20% if you got the line right, and people would jump up and down with joy if they would get the line right.
I do not know. I have been coming here since for over 20 years, I would believe, 2 decades. Because it's across from QFC, so after you're finished shopping and you have food for your belly and then you have food for your soul. I enjoyed reading their commentary on the books, so it was a better version of a library in a certain sense.
The recommend cards, I was somewhere in the United States, I didn't even know where, and I saw some bookstore doing this. And I came home and said, we have to do this. And we were the first bookstore in Seattle, and now you can't walk in a bookstore, whether you be Barnes & Noble or without a card, but we were the first.
There would be people who got used to our tastes and knew what they liked and what we liked, and it became a way of interacting with the customer. They knew who we were, they knew our names.
We tried to read as many as we could. You know, it's kind of hard to do, but it was fun to see what actually a personal recommendation would do if you could connect to a customer.
I was once at the counter, and I was actually up in fiction shelving, And there was a woman walking with her friend, and she looked at one of my recommendation tags. And she said, "Oh, this looks good." And her friend came over and said, "Oh, don't buy what he likes. He hates, all of his books are bad."
That's the new
That's
one.
the newest one. This will be the good one. This one. In general, all the authors we've had here have been great. And some of the sweetest people. Sarah Waters is the sweetest woman in the world. Alison Bechtel, and Dorothy Allison, and Paul Monette, and
Oh, Paul Monette.
Paul Monette.
He was a wonderful, wonderful person.
And there's Tony Kushner. Thanks for a pleasant afternoon. That was Tony Kushner's very first book signing. Lily Tomlin and Jane Wagner. That was fun. And oh, there's Lily Tomlin signed as Edith Ann. Gloria Steinem. That was a big night. Yeah, thank you for running the community center. That was a big night.
Oh my God, the first reading I did here, it was actually not for one of my books, it was for a comic book I did with the art director of The Stranger a million years ago. And we did a reading and I did it in drag. And the police chief at the time, Norm Stamper, just wandered in to the reading, to the signing of this comic book. And they had set up a bed for me, so I was signing the comic books in bed in drag, and I dragged the police chief of Seattle into bed with me and got my picture taken with the chief of police in Seattle in bed with a drag queen. And that was not long after I'd moved to Seattle, and I thought, all right, I could live in a place where the chief of police will crawl into bed with a drag queen in a bookstore.
It's kind of shocking even to come in today and see them. Like, oh, where's half the store?
No, it's shocking for us. Half the staff doesn't even want to come in.
I know, I know.
Because
It's sad.
just,
It's like,
yeah, it's a pretty strong emotional process.
We've been never saying die for quite a while now. It's been a difficult decade for independent booksellers. The market is changing, the world is changing, the way that people are buying books are changing. It's been a very challenging time to be a bookseller and to be a small business person. We were committed to being the best bookstore that we could be, and when we got to the point where we could no longer perform as the best bookstore we could be, we decided then it was time to say goodbye. And we were getting to that point. This past year, the economic meltdown has really taken a toll on us and taken a toll on the way people spend money. If it hadn't been for the financial situation of this past year, I think we could have gone on to see what the next phase might have looked like as a small business and as a bookstore. But the difficulties were insurmountable, and we could no longer give the best service that we thought we could. We should have gotten more online savvy. We should have been more aggressive about all that 10 years ago. We should have really focused more attention, more energy, and more money on that 10 years ago. We should have done that. We didn't. We continued to believe that what we wanted to operate was a bricks and mortar storefront bookstore. And that's what we wanted to do, and that's what we knew. And that's what we would continue to do.
so are you guys going to be able to make it through the end of the month?
No, through next week at the most. So
Wow.
we're reducing our hours starting tomorrow from 12 to 8.
Oh, really?
It's happening a lot faster than we thought. We were hoping to stretch it to the end of the month, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
We did have a few people say, what can we do? Isn't there something to do? Isn't there a campaign? But the business has to be a sustainable model in and of itself. It has to be able to pay its own rent. And efforts like that are good to rally people around for a certain period of time, but you can't run a business on that model.
The other bookstores in Capitol Hill is just half price and twice hotels.
Yep. That's what's left.
Damn. Going away.
It's just tough. The business is tough and only getting tougher.
And Horizon Books closed up 1/15th.
Oh, that's
It's like,
that's a bummer.
I always thought this store would survive the changes,
You talk to people, you interact with people, you smile at people, you laugh with people, And that's why I'm in retail, and that's why I sell books. I want to have that experience and share my love of books one-on-one with a human being. Doing that online will never be as satisfying to me, even though it may be financially lucrative. It's not why I'm a bookseller, it's not why we had a bookstore.
I'll just always keep this thing here. It's my most recent little Bailey Coy card.
Yeah.
Just for symbolism's sake. You know?
Oh, I love this store. It had great kids books, had great adult books, just gorgeous picture books. It's just hard to imagine anything replacing it.
It's the whole book business as we know it is not going to be around that much longer, I don't think.
I don't see Bailey quite coming back in any other kind of form. I think this is the end of a chapter. We're calling it a wake, and we're doing it in the spirit of a wake.
It'll be fun. If you're going to go out, you should go out with a bang, you know.
15 minutes left in the silent auction, and all of you seeing has some of the great stuff that we have around here. You've got 15 minutes to look and make your bid.
We're going to auction off some memorabilia that we've had over the years. We have the white boxer shorts that are signed by David Sedaris.
Now 2 here, 2 1/4, able to give me 225.
We have posters signed by Annie Leibovitz. We have original artwork from our author autograph book by Linda Barry and Matt Groening.
425, sir, able to give me 4 1/4, excellent. Now 450 here, able to give me 4 1/2. She says no, you say yes, I'll take it, sir. 5 1/4 here. That's how it works in the auction world, do you know?
We have a lot of crazy memorabilia that we've stored up over the years, and we're going to sell it off to people to pay some
Able
bills.
to give me 3, bid it about 3. Nice, 350. Hey, Mary, what about 350? 350 in the back, now 375. You're in there on 775. Hold on. Able to give me 8, bid it about 8. Able to give me 8. Double check it. 800 here, 800 there. Able to give me 8. Sold 775. Excellent. Thank you, sir.
We want to raise a couple of glasses.
Thank you so much. Talk about wow. Thank you so much. Books are neat. Books are neat.
Have a couple of toasts. And say goodbye in style.
I'm stopping, but I bought some corn for popping. So turn the lights way down low. Let it snow.
Nice sign, photo.
Usually we do the first line, so we're doing the last line now.
This is the closest piece of our history that we are parting with. This is up for auction. What am I going to do? Take this home? What am I going to do? Sleep with this?
So here we go. Who would like to start that at $100? Able to give me 100, bid it about 100. Nice. 1 1/4, 1 1/2. Able to give me 150?
It's been difficult for us to imagine what Broadway and Capitol Hill is going to be like without it, and a lot of customers have been saying the same thing to us.
25, 50 here, thank you. 75, bid it about 375, 350, now 375. Excellent.
We've been on the Hill for 26 years, so it's been a long time that we've been here, and we like to think that we've really been at the cultural heart of what happens in this neighborhood for a long time.
Sold 450.
It was a great run.
Bye, Rachel. Thank you so much. Bye.
Good night. See you soon.
Bye. There's going to be a gap that will eventually be filled by something new. But Bailey Coy Books is coming to an end.